Hey guys, Western Mine Detective here, coming at you with another mine exploring video. So right now I'm walking along an old railroad grade. It's pretty cool because some of the cross ties are still in place after 100 years. I believe this particular railroad was first constructed circa 1904, and unfortunately they removed the rails, but pretty cool to see the old railroad bed and many of the cross ties still in place. And this is actually a branch of the main railroad, so this particular branch serviced two of the mines. One of them, so the railroad grade goes around that bend, and then the mine is just over that direction, and then the other one is behind those mountains. And these were two pretty successful mines, I would have to say, and pretty big ones at that. Both of them date to the late 1800s. The one that I'm headed to right now, I believe, was started in the 1880s, so pretty historic. But yeah, I'm gonna be walking along here looking for some cool artifacts. Hopefully there's like some spikes I can show you guys. But yeah, pretty desolate out here right now. It's over 100 degrees, so it is pretty dang hot, but I got a lot of liquids with me, and I'm only doing about a I think 2 mile one way, 2 mile out hike, so it won't be too bad. Alright, so I thought this was pretty cool and noteworthy. So here is the original railroad grade. You can see there's still a couple cross ties up there. And here's the road. Oh man, look how washed out this is. You definitely need a Jeep or something. Come out here. Maybe a 4Runner. But yeah, look at how all that water ripped through the railroad bed. It's about probably 12 feet high. Dang, that is just insane. Yeah, let's take a look at the old railroad grade. Yeah, there it is, and then right over there it meets back up with the road. As you can see, bunch of monsoonal thunderstorms off in the distance. Pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm getting there. Definitely hot as hell. I'm guessing it's warmed up a little bit, probably 103. But yeah, this is some really beautiful and stark scenery. So this is pretty crazy. As you can see, the railroad bed has been built up pretty high right there, and then in these divots right here, there's one there, one here, and another one there. There would have been pretty big timber supports supporting a trestle, and then there's a pretty big wash right here, and then the railroad bed continues right over there. So back in the day, there would have been about a 100-foot trestle crossing right here. But unfortunately, over time and with all this water running through, it has pretty much collapsed, and there's not much that remains except a little bit of the wood. Oh yeah, there's a really deep divot right here, a couple feet, and looks like the last one right here. Yeah, look at all this, all these timbers strewn about the place. Oh yeah, and here's another really nice and intact portion of the railroad bed. Hell yeah. It's crazy because it's at a pretty steep, at least for a railroad, incline. What a view. Oh man, I just love walking along these historic railroads because sometimes you come across stuff like this where it's just so nice and intact, and you got these cuts and they just blasted through the side of the mountain. It's just so cool to see. Must use lots of dynamite to get through this. Ain't that cool, man. You can see that there's been a bit of rock fall. I'm sure this is pretty crumbly right here. Yeah, lots of rocks. Pretty big one in this bush. But yeah, I am I guess within a half a mile or so of the mine site. So I will probably turn you guys back on when I get there. Alright, so I finally made it to the mine site, and here's a look at the lower tram station. You can see that there's at least 3 ore chutes. There's 2 right next to each other, and then looks like a collapsed one right there. So this right here, this is the end of the line for the railroad. You can see a cross tie right here. So the trains would have came up all the way to here, and then the cars would have been filled up with the ore that came out of those ore chutes. And then higher up, it looks like I can see cable running all the way to that main ore bin. So yeah, we'll be headed up there, see what we could find. So this is pretty cool. Looking across this wash, you got these multiple tiers of these stone foundations, and those would have acted as supports for what I believe would have been like an inclined trestle. So way at the top there would have been a hoist, and then that hoist would have guided the, most likely I would guess, an ore car up and down the hill. And then the ore car would have ended up right there at that lower station, dumped the ore, and then the trains would have taken it out. Pretty awesome. Alright, there's an awesome view looking down, and then looking where I just came from. So I came from around that bend way back there behind those mountains. Definitely worth it out here in the 100-degree heat. And we finally made it up to the main ore bin. This thing is about 35 feet tall, it looks like. Here's the cable that I was talking about that would have pulled the ore car or skip car up and down this this incline. I'm a little out of breath right now. Definitely gotta take a break after checking this out. Alright, well. So there's a ladder right here. I see 2 ore chutes right there, a couple more on the side. This thing's been standing in the sun for at least 90, 100 years. Still in pretty amazing shape, considering. Look at that bird's nest out there. And let's take a look at the underside real quick. Look at this. Beautiful craftsmanship. I have a feeling that there's a big bowl wheel down here since there's that cable. Oh yeah, it's right over there. I guess I could squeeze in while recording. Yep, so there's actually still cable still connected to it. There it is. That's awesome. So yeah, there's a big bull wheel. There's a cable. There's still cable spooled around it. And one last look at this beautiful craftsmanship of this ore bin. It's in pretty pristine condition. Glad that it hasn't collapsed. And yeah, here's one of the ore chutes. Second, third. Really long one right here. Man, ain't that something. One more thing to know about this ore bin. It's pretty unique in that the ore chutes are at different orientations. There's a couple on that side and a couple on that side, but usually the way it is there's a few just in the front, just like those are. But I don't think I've ever seen one where it's facing different directions. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm going to be headed up this road, and you can already see right there is a pretty big stacked stone foundation, and then of course the waste rock pile for the mine itself. Lots of cool stuff up here. You got the ore bin, and here's that stacked stone wall. Pretty big. And then there's yet another foundation right there. And then there's just a bunch of trails all over. And it looks like there's quite a few piles on that other mountain. I've seen one way over there. And then there's a few even up there. And right down there we actually got a miner's cabin. So we will go check that out. Alright, so I made it to this miner's cabin. Looks like a bunch of the wood siding has come off over the years. And as you can see, the roof is made out of tin metal. Actually, it looks like they used a couple cans up there. There's a few cans and looks like tobacco tins that they just nailed down, which is pretty cool. They used what they got. So look at the back side. And then under the tin they actually had wood. Yeah. Here's a little look inside. They built it up pretty good. You can see they got maybe a 2-foot wall surrounding. Let's take a nice overview look at the front. Man, that looks so cool. Oh, and I just noticed they actually have like a root cellar, it looks like. partially buried. And to keep their canned goods and such cold, they would have put it in here. Yeah, so that's where the door is. You can still see there's a shelf right there. Huh. Alright. So let's take a quick look inside the cabin, and then I'll probably head into the mine for a little bit. There's a little bird's nest up here. Nice and cool in here. We'll look out that window. We sure did have a nice view. It's collapsing a little bit actually right here. See how this timber is no longer supporting the roof. So this won't be around too much longer. Yeah. So directly downhill from that cabin, there's actually another structure right here. This looks like it would have been a very small one-room dwelling. Their bed would have probably been spread this way, and they would have cooked right there in that fireplace. I'll show you guys that right now. But yeah, I'd imagine this is a pretty old structure, considering it's made out of these stacked stones. Probably dates to the late 1800s or so. That's when this mine was first started. So yeah, here's the fireplace. Very nice stacked stone work right there. Yeah, and there's looking out where the door would have been. This is pretty wild, guys. So this is like the most stone structures that I've seen in my explores. So there's another one right there, and directly across the wash there's a pretty nice and intact one right there. I'd love to do that if I had more time, but it is getting a little late for my liking, so I'll save that for another day. But we will check this one real quick. Probably the same construction as the last one that we just checked out. Actually, the fireplace is in the middle. Yeah, so there's the fireplace. Man, this is super awesome. Alright guys, I didn't think it would happen since we were finding so much cool stuff outside the mine, but we finally made it to the first portal. This is one of the main ones. There are just so many scattered all throughout the hillside, but this is the main one right here. And I can already feel so much cool air coming out of here. It's probably like maybe not even 70 degrees. Feels like it's in the 60s. Wow. Been a while since I've been inside of mine, so definitely excited. There's a little pocket right here. Just looking back at the portal. And this is just a huge one. I'm standing straight up, and the back of the mine is about like 2 or 3 feet above my head. Alright, well, I'll turn you guys back on when I find something pretty cool. Alright, so we've been walking for maybe 1,000 feet or so. And right here we made it to, looks like a pretty big room. Looks like there's a split in the rail. There's actually a bench right here. That's pretty cool. So the rails continue that direction. Ooh, there's even a piece of clothing right here. Almost looks like denim. It's kind of blue. I'll leave that there. So it looks like this ends, but does head up about 70 feet or so, maybe 65. Let me check out that right junction, see if that leads to anything. Might go up those ladders, see what's up that way. So I'm continuing down this right-hand junction, and right here we got a lot of nice timbering. Got some lagging on the side. But yeah, this is already quite the extensive mine. Got some more timber supports. This one's buckling just a little. Ah yeah, so we got pretty nice seam of galena going through here. And yet another split in the rail. There's looking off that way. That one just ends. That continues. Well, I guess I'll continue using the right-hand rule. Alright, so we made it to yet another junction. And then right here we actually got some miners graffiti. It looks like JDW 1920, 1917, and the initials HAB, October 19th, 1919. So pretty cool to see some early 1900s graffiti. And then let's see what's down this junction. Looks like there's a decline shaft going down. And then looking off this way, rails continue. And then right up here we got a pretty nice vein of limonite that they were following, and it's almost violet or purple right there. Super nice deep color. Thought I heard something. And then it continues this way. Oh wow, so actually above that decline shaft, the hoist drum, the gear and all the cable still intact. Unfortunately it's been taken off its foundation, but pretty cool to see that it's still up here. There's a cable. Let's take a look at the other side. Yeah, there's a huge gear I'm sure it would have taken quite a bit of power to turn this thing. This is where it would have originally sat. And then back there, I'm guessing that there was a some sort of motor. Yeah. Then there's these two wooden pieces. Kind of interesting. And then let's take a quick look down this decline. So yeah, it's a pretty steady grade. I'd say about maybe a 55-degree angle or something. And it looks like it flattens out further down. Unfortunately, I do not have any more time. I've got about a 4 or 5 hour drive back home, so we'll take a quick look over here, and then hopefully sometime in the future I can make a part 2. Oh shit. Oh my god, I don't have enough light. This thing's already on. Excuse me, it's very dusty up in here. This thing's already up on turbo, and then my other light is too. But man, look at this huge stope. There's limonite that they were following. Man, here's a rail. You can see it's been all washed out right here. Just looking down. But man, this is one huge stope. And right here you can see the vein that they were following. Just look at that. I'm gonna turn my light down so you guys can see that. But yeah, you got some copper up in there, lead, silver, zinc, probably a little bit of gold. But yeah, look at that. Those layers up in there. Looks like some chrysocolla through this seam. And it's darker blue right here, so maybe azurite. There's a bunch of awesome stuff up in here. It just continues through here. Yeah, just look how dark it is here. Damn. That is some beautiful stuff. You're getting some good ore out of this mine, that's for sure. And then this pillar, there's just a lot more. Look at this. It's a nice little seam right there. And the colors are just insane. You got yellows, reds, green, blue, purple. Almost a whole rainbow. There's an ore chute right there. And yeah, continuing on. Just a huge stope. Looks like it continues on that way. This level, there's an ore chute. Yeah, way down there's a pillar. I think the first level is right there. I think I can see it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to end the video here, and I'm definitely gonna come back. There's so many more mines in this area that I want to check out, so definitely don't want to go over that. But all in all, this is one of the more productive explorers I've had in quite a few weeks, so definitely happy and humbled that I got to get out. Definitely the highlight for the day was this hoist, and also the miner's cabin, and the ore bin. Those were top 3, I would say. But I'll end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.